Billionaire's daughter hadn't spoken in 10 years. Then, a poor black boy changed everything. The rain had been falling all morning, blurring the windows of the Sterling mansion like nature itself wanted to hide the world outside. Inside, everything was silent. Too silent? A heavy, aching kind of quiet that had lived there for almost a decade. 10 years without a word. 10 years since little Emma Sterling, daughter of billionaire tech mogul Charles Sterling, had spoken. She wasn't born silent. She used to laugh, sing, talk to butterflies, ask a million questions. But after the accident that took her mother's life, something inside her shut down. Her voice disappeared. Her eyes stopped shining. Her world dimmed. Charles tried everything. The best specialists, the most expensive therapists, state-of-the-art treatments. Nothing helped. Nothing broke through the wall Emma had built around her voice. And in that mansion full of wealth, silence became the loudest thing of all. One afternoon, Charles sat in his office staring at a family photo Emma at 5, giggling in her mother's arms. His chest tightened. I'm losing her, just like I lost her mother. A soft knock interrupted his thoughts. Sir, said Mrs. Thompson, their longtime housekeeper. There's someone outside, playing in the garden fountain. Should I call security? Charles frowned. Who's outside? A boy, maybe 12. He doesn't look like he's from here, meaning poor, out of place, not someone who belonged on the perfectly manicured Sterling grounds. Charles sighed. I'll take care of it. He stepped outside, expecting to see trouble. He didn't. He saw life. A boy stood barefoot in the fountain, arms stretched wide as the water splashed over him. He was laughing full, joyful laughter that echoed through the garden like music the estate hadn't heard in years. His clothes were worn, his hoodie damp, sneakers torn. Yet, he glowed with something that money could never buy. Charles approached. Hey son, what are you doing on my property? The boy turned, startled for a second, then smiled softly. Sorry sir, I'm not stealing anything. It was just raining, and then the fountain was spraying, and it looked fun. I forgot people here don't do that. Charles blinked. The honesty disarmed him. What's your name? Malik, the boy said. I live down the hill. My mom cleans houses. Today she's working nearby, so I was just waiting. Before Charles could answer, a small figure peeked from behind the garden pillar. Emma. Her hair was braided neatly, a flower-patterned dress, bare feet, and eyes full of surprise because she was watching something she hadn't seen in years. A child laughing. Malik noticed her and grinned. Hi. Emma froze. Charles gently touched her shoulder. It's okay, sweetheart. Malik climbed out of the fountain, dripping water everywhere. You want to try? He asked her kindly. Emma's lips parted just barely. Charles held his breath. He didn't expect her to speak. He knew better than to hope too loudly. She stepped closer, cautious, curious. Malik lifted his hands to show her the spray of water. It feels like the sky hugging you, he whispered. Something softened in her eyes. Malik smiled again. You're safe, I promise. Emma didn't speak, but she reached out, letting the mist hit her fingers. Charles felt something shift in the air, a tiny crack in a 10-year silence. From that moment, Malik visited often. He taught Emma how to skip rocks, how to whistle grass blades, how to climb trees without being afraid of falling. She followed him like a small shadow, watching him with quiet fascination. And through her silence, Malik somehow understood her. When she tugged her sleeve twice, he knew she was cold. When she avoided the pond, he knew she was scared. When she sat next to him silently, he knew she wanted company. One afternoon, Emma drew something in chalk on the stone pathway, a little stick figure girl beside, a taller boy with curly hair. Malik laughed. That's me. Emma nodded. But I'm cooler than that, he teased out. She smiled. Charles watched from the window, stunned. She hadn't smiled that widely since she was 6. He stepped outside, voice soft. Malik, yes sir, I want to pay you for helping her. Malik's face fell, offended. No sir, she's my friend. Friends don't get paid. Charles swallowed. I didn't mean it like I know, Malik said, but she doesn't need another therapist with a price tag. She needs someone who treats her like a person, not a project. His words hit Charles harder than he expected. That night, Charles found Emma asleep on the couch, clutching a small paper. Malik had given her a hand-drawn sun with a smiley face. He's helping her, in ways money never could, but not everyone in the mansion saw it that way. 3 weeks later, the estate manager, Mr. Collins, stormed toward the garden with 2 security guards. There he is, he barked, the stray boy sneaking in again. Emma, who had been sitting beside Malik feeding birds, instantly panicked. Her breath quickened. Her hands shook, but Malik stood protectively in front of her. She's with me. Don't scare her. You don't belong here, Collins snapped. Let's go. He grabbed Malik's arm roughly. Stop. A voice sliced through the air. Everyone froze. Malik's eyes widened. Emma had spoken. 10 years of silence broken by one terrified scream. She rushed forward, tears streaming down her face, and clung to Malik's hoodie. Charles ran from across the lawn, breathless. Emma, sweetheart, say it again. She sobbed into Malik's chest. Don't take him. Those were her first words since the accident. The housekeeper gasped. The security guard stared. Collins stepped back in shock. Charles dropped to his knees beside her. You spoke, he whispered, tears slipping freely. Emma cried harder, clinging to Malik like he was oxygen. Charles met the boy's eyes, and in that moment, everything made sense. Malik hadn't just made her laugh, he hadn't just made her smile, he had made her feel safe enough to come back from the darkness. Charles pulled both children into his arms. Nobody is taking Malik away. Emma nodded against his shoulder, trembling. Charles stood, turning to the guards. Leave all of you. Collins stuttered. Esper, you were only proving how blind privilege can make a man, Charles said sharply. Get off my property. As Collins left, humiliated, Charles turned to Malik. If you'll allow it, I want you here. Every day, not as a worker, as family. Malik's throat tightened. Sir, I don't know what to say. You say yes, Charles whispered, because you brought my daughter back to life. Emma tugged Malik's sleeve gently, looking up with watery eyes. He smiled. If she wants me here, I'm here. For the first time in a decade, Emma laughed. A small, broken, beautiful sound. Time passed, Emma grew stronger. Her words came slowly at first, then more steadily. Malik helped her find joy, courage, her voice, and Charles made sure Malik's family had everything they needed. A better home, a good school, a future. One day, Emma asked Malik, why did you help me? He smiled. Because someone once helped me when I was scared. They told me the world isn't always kind, so we gotta be kind to each other. She took his hand. Thank you. He squeezed it gently. Always. And for the first time in 10 years, Charles Sterling felt hope fill the mansion again. A wealthy home healed by a poor boy with nothing but a good heart. Moral. Sometimes the greatest miracles don't come from money, power, or privilege. They come from kindness. Pure, honest, human kindness. And when one heart reaches another, even the deepest silence can find its voice again.